We perceive scary stories about school only in terms of learning. But sometimes the most supernatural and mystical things can happen within these walls. That's our story today.
I work as a history teacher in a very ordinary school. I've seen a lot in my life. But in 40 years of work I have encountered only one incomprehensible phenomenon, which happened when I came to work here. I got a job in summer and immediately volunteered for repairs. I was assigned to Uncle Ethan, the house painter. I did all sorts of black work, diluted the paint, primed the walls for painting. Uncle Ethan painted himself. He was a master of his craft, but he liked to drink a little, even at work. And so one day he and I were painting one of the corridors in the far wing of the school. I forgot to mention that our building was old. Anyway, we went through the first layer of the corridor, having managed before lunch. And Ethan decided to have a little drink, but to avoid being caught, he started looking for a secluded spot. What about me? Only after the institute, modest and silent. I used to carry brushes and paint buckets after him without complaint. And, let's face it, I liked to have a drink too, when I was young. So, Ethan found the door to one of the classrooms on the second floor, where we decided to settle down. The most curious thing was that the classroom looked strange. The desks were antique. In the corner there was a stuffed raven and a globe. All this surprised me, but not enough to scare me, and Ethan rushed over. "Come on," he said. "Hurry up and pour." As soon as I put the bucket on the floor, a bell rang in the hallway, the kind that sounds at the 1st of September rulers. It rang loudly, and that ringing gave me the creeps. The bell sounded somehow sinister. I do not know how to explain it, but the melodious ringing reeked of danger. I also knew that there was no one in the corridor, much less with a bell. Ethan was getting serious, too. But he was braver than I was. Now we'll find out who's out there. "Don't go, Ethan," I grabbed his sleeve. "Let go." Ethan wrenched his arm away. As I remember now, he strode confidently through the classroom, tore open the door and boldly stepped out into the corridor, and then, whether on purpose or automatically, he shut it behind him. And then, when for a split second the door was open, I heard noise and commotion, as if a horde of children were running in the hallway, and also shadows of gray, small shadows. They filled the hallway, arising just behind Ethan's back. When the door slammed shut, the sound of the bell was immediately silenced. Gone, too, was the eerie tension that had been holding me back. It was only now that I realized that I was shaking with fear like an aspen leaf. But I wasn't going to leave Ethan behind. I jumped out into the corridor after him, holding my breath, as if I dove into the icy water. Because the second I crossed the threshold, I felt the icy cold. The corridor was empty, and I walked through it from beginning to end. But I couldn't find the door to that classroom when I came back, either. There was no such class. I walked around the whole school in a panic. All that was left after that incident was to keep quiet. And Ethan was never found. They looked for him for a long time, but to no avail. And I was afraid to tell my story. I've been working here for over 40 years now, but sometimes, if I sit up late, I hear a bell ringing faintly somewhere in the school. And I know that at that moment a door appears on the second floor, leading to a trapped classroom. I pretend I don't hear anything, get up quietly, and quickly leave the school. Although my heart is racing with fright, I don't want to share the fate of Ethan, whose ghost I sometimes see in the hallway. He looks at me reproachfully, but what can I do? All I can do is look away shyly. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Subscribe to the channel, there will be many more interesting things.